What's up? I am here today with Mike C-Roc, author of Rocket Fuel. It's launching May 3rd, correct?
Yeah, that's the date that they gave me now. Yep.
Awesome. What's up? How you doing?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me, Andrew. I appreciate you having me. Yeah, and just so everybody knows, they do finally it's finally done. I do have a hard copy of the book. Pretty awesome stuff to actually be an author and hold your own book in your hand for the first time. So it's pretty surreal.
Yeah, for sure. And if anybody, I'll say it again at the end, but if anybody wants a copy of it, I have the link. Mike has the link. So just like shoot me a message, shoot him a message. We'll get you the link and you can order the book and kind of learn more. But yeah, so we first met down in Miami and you were one of the guest speakers at this marketing boot camp. And, I was sitting in the back of the room and I decided it was fun. Good idea to put 2 listings live while I was there. I'm a realtor, so my day was just insane. So I was in and out, but the bits and pieces I did hear you speak were just incredible, and you could definitely tell. After meeting you in person and then virtually, I saw who some of your mentors were, some of the people you locked arms with, and you could hear it, right? Because you get around people, you kind of start speaking the same language, same verbiage,
Yeah.
Marching to the same beat. So that's kind of how I was in the military. We were all brothers, we all kind of thought the same. So I just want to hear about your story. How'd you get started? I'm sure it was a smooth path, right? So like where you from, all that good stuff.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, it's been a journey. It's still a journey. And that's part of life, man. Understanding that everything in life is a journey and enjoying the trip. Because a lot of people just look at the end game and they just want the end game and they miss out on all the time that they had on the journey. And that's, to me, very important for me to be present and understand that everything I go through is an experience and it's living life. And, to me, success is what you do when you wake up in the morning every single day. You go towards something or you go away from something, which is not success. So, I came from a broken home. I don't remember my parents together, from outside of Philly. Lived with my mom until I was 8, moved to my dad's until I was from 8 to 11. During that time, there was a lot of conflict between my parents, step parents, my mom. I mean, it's just a mess. And a lot of it trickled down into the kids. And parents don't generally understand the impact that it has on the kids when they don't get along and when they're immature and they don't act like adults. And so during that time, I dealt with a lot of conflict and a lot of mental abuse, not physical, psychological, and threats. And I would sleep with my baseball bat at nights a lot of times. And, a kid shouldn't be scared like that, living in their own house. It's ridiculous. So I dealt with all that, and that calloused me and put me through situations where I'm not afraid to be in awkward situations anymore. So in a way, it was a blessing in disguise, right? But after a period of time, I just had enough. And I told my mom, I said, I got to get out of here. This is not the environment I want to be in. I'm, dealing with this, and that. And she's like, that's not normal. You shouldn't have to be dealing with that. And, she filed court papers, told me to stick to my guns because they're going to try to talk me out of it once they get these court papers. And I remembered that till the day I was confronted with my dad with papers in his hand that said I wanted to move back with my mom. She filed for custody. So my dad was my hero. I mean, he had his own masonry business, did bricks and block and poured concrete, real big forearms and rough hands. He was a hard worker, and he always carried this wad of $100 bills around in his pocket with a rubber band around it. He did well for himself, but he liked to flash the money, right? I thought that was cool as a kid. So when I confirmed I wanted to move in with my mom, he said, you know what? If that's the case, you're going to need, they're poor where where your mom lives. I mean, they're poor. She's moved into another husband, and they don't have what you have here. And he said, he takes that wad of $100 bills out, peeled one off, crumpled it up and threw it at me and said, you're going to need this then when you're living on the streets with your mother one day. And I remember that like I was 11. I remember that to this day. I mean, I'm 44 years old now. It's like, 33 years I've been like riding off of that spark that was lit, that challenge that was thrown down from my hero. And from that point on, I've always just tried to be the best that I could be at everything, most valuable player, most valuable teammate, most valuable employee, whatever it was. And subconsciously, I was doing this, right? Well, about 2 years ago, I decided to really do an assessment of my life and figure out why am I always having great success no matter what happens to me? I keep leveling up. You would think some of the stuff would knock you down. And I came to find out that I was taking everything that would stop or slow down a normal human being, and I was storing it in my fuel tank instead of my trunk where it would weigh me down, so that I could convert it into rocket fuel for my future and blast through anything that would stop me or slow me down. And once I realized that, I was like, this is so powerful. I got to write a book about this. I got to bottle it to get it out to the world. And so I did that. And the journey's been fantastic. I mean, I'm impatient as hell. I want to get this book out faster, but it just takes time. There's a process, and you got to figure out how to have patience. Yeah.
You mentioned one thing. You said team player. Like, I feel like everybody, everybody feels like they need to be the visionary, the guy, right? But sometimes they do need to take a step back, and they need to play that team game, right?
Yeah,
Wouldn't you agree? Like, what does that look like? Some of the best leaders are the best followers, right? Sometimes, like, so what was your experience with that? If you could elaborate on that, right? Because I struggle with that sometimes. Sometimes I want to be the guy, right? But sometimes I know I don't need to be, but it's just like our mentality sometimes. So
yeah, no, I get it. I mean, how can you expect people to follow you if you've never followed someone? That's the way I look at it. I look at it as, in order to be a role model, you've had to gone through something before and done it, because otherwise you don't know what expectations to lay down for the people that are following you. A leader's job is really not to be a boss, but it's to be someone that assists people in their success and makes their success easier. And that's what I look at it as. Now, I look at people being a leader no matter what role, what title they have, because, I have 40 employees in our mortgage division, and every single person in that company is expected to lead in some way, shape, or form. And so that's one of the things that I do, is run a mortgage division for Nations Lending. That's one of the main things. And then obviously now I'm an author, a podcaster, and most recently have gotten into the tech space, where we help non-tech entrepreneurs that have big ideas take their idea, instead of going to the grave with it and never doing anything with the great idea that could change the world. And we bring them into the tech space and connect them with someone that can develop their tech product and launch it. So I'm really fired up about that. I have my own product. I have 2 in my portfolio right now. One of them is my main one that's going to be launched in here very soon, called Blueprinted. And I'm just excited about the opportunity to be able to help people achieve dreams, man.
Yeah. So I do want to hear about Blueprint, but how can somebody contact you or get into that? Like, hey, I got this app. I think it's going to be revolutionary. What does that look like? Because I know that could be tens of thousands of dollars, right? Just to kind of get your name out there. So from what I've heard, but
yeah, it's a lot more than that generally. So best thing to do is for somebody, they reach out to me, and then I'll set up a Zoom call with them, and we just go through it and work through, an idea. But basically, what's really different about being a part of what's called Sela Labs, my buddy Jared's company, and the idea squad of Sela Labs, is that we take ideas, we research it and vet it out, make sure it's viable. And then from there, we do everything at cost, but by a company that Jared started in India, which is at Indian cost, not even American cost. So it's a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of what it would cost a normal situation. So it creates an opportunity to really become unstoppable, because the overhead to develop is so low that we can adjust and adapt without being hurt too bad financially. So we can get people into their products. There's people that have come up with ideas that don't have any funds at all. And Jared has also established, Jared's my partner and Blueprinted and founder of Sela Labs. He's also established funding for people, crowdfunding. They have angel investors that can, invest in the product, put up capital to get it started. And like I said, it's not a huge amount of money.
Yeah. Can you elaborate more on what Blueprint is, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, like digital video courses that are out nowadays, and every coach has a digital training platform, and they do videos. And I saw a big problem with that. Now I've had my own, and I've taken those courses.
Yeah.
And I spent money on those courses before. But at the end of the day, I noticed that there was a big problem with them. Most people, under 20% of people, complete those courses when they buy a course. So what that tells me is the success rate of those people that are learning from that course is a lot lower than that, of course. And all the people that are really good marketers of those courses are making money without concern of the success of the student, which is a big problem to me ethically. And I said, there's got to be a solution to this. So I did some research and said, why is it that people are having, lack of success with these things? Is it effective? And what can be done to change that? And what I found is that people don't finish the course. They don't have time. They get distracted. They're not retaining the information. And or they don't know when they're done what step to do next. Like, what's the first step? What do I do after that? What's the final step? How many steps do I have to go through to be successful? So
yeah,
I found that if we can provide the exact steps to success, if somebody has success in, let's say, being a real estate agent or developing a real estate team, and they can give you the step 1, step 2, step 50, all the way to the end of how to successfully start a real estate team. And all you had to do is follow those steps. You just have to add action and great attitude, and you got success. It's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Now, that's just one vertical, for example. It could be a digital marketing agency if you want to start that, how to start a podcast. It could be all these things. And then basically they put their blueprint in this project management system that we created. And it's a marketplace for people to sell their blueprints to the public in different verticals and guarantee success for people by adding action.
So I do want to talk to you about, so people come together for lots of reasons, right? So I'm actually building a 4-module system on how to get free leads, generate free business, free sphere, create those relationships through all the free virtual platforms we have, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all that. And I have these 4 modules already built and I don't know what to do with them. So thank you.
Yeah, dude. I mean, here's the thing. And the other thing is, a lot of people aren't going to want to build their own blueprints. They're going to want to hire somebody to build their blueprints. So this is going to create a new industry of people that are just like web designers. Yeah. You're going to have blueprint creators, and they'll charge a fee, and you give them your content, and they'll create your blueprint for you in our system and then sell it to the market. Or lead gen. Like, for example, if you have somebody come to you and says, hey, can you give me some advice on real estate or whatever it is, right? You say, well, yeah, I'd be happy to, but why don't you buy my blueprint first? It gives you the steps. You just follow those steps. If you have questions as you're doing it, I also offer coaching, individual, group coaching, whatever it is. And it's basically like a lead magnet.
That's pretty cool. Let's definitely connect outside of this. But I do want to talk about your book, right? So I have a book coming out. I don't want to talk about it right now. I'll leave that for a different forum. I want to talk about your book, Rocket Fuel, right? So can you give us like a breakdown, chapter 1, like what, I know you talked about it. You took what, your past experiences with your father, and it just stuck there and just has propelled you, right, to through these challenging times, good, bad, whatever. How did you start a book? Like, what did that look like, right? Like, because it kind of like when I was going to start one, I was like, well, I'm not the best writer, right? And so I'm like, I'm probably just going to hire somebody to write it. I'm just going to create all these voice memos, like hours of content. And I'm like, I'm just talking into my phone, and my mom thinks I'm crazy because she was here for the summer. My roommate thought I was crazy. I'm like, hey, say something, So is that what you did, or how did that look?
So basically there's an app on my phone called Daybook, and I would just journal in this app whenever I felt like something, right? And then my podcast, I did a few episodes of my podcast by myself solo without bringing guests on, and we transcribed those. And then I just took all that and just dumped it into a Word doc, right? That was the start. It's called a brain dump. We just dump it in there, started putting content in there, and then we start shifting and moving things around and just kind of laid an outline, like a table of contents. And then we put the content where we thought it would belong. And then that thing had just evolved and evolved and evolved. And I didn't I wrote a lot, but I had somebody help me where they would take what I wrote and then basically restructure it a little bit, change some things. And then it went to editor, and I had 3 editors work on it. And then it produced this book. So awesome. That's basically the same thing. You don't have to be a great writer. You just need to know what ideas and content you want to put, and then you get somebody to help you with that.
Yeah. So where can they go get the book? Like I said, I'll drop the link below. We got 3 copies coming. We're excited about it. My partner and I, we got an extra copy to pass out. So
thank you, man.
Of course. I mean, just after hearing you speak, your energy, I'm from the Northeast too, so I can relate, right? I like the direct, straight to the point. Tell me if I'm screwed up, right? Tell me if I'm like not going the right direction. Tell me if I'm doing good, all that good stuff, right? So where can they go get it?
Yeah, right now you can go to MikeCroc.com/book. That's a pre-order, or you can Amazon. It'll be available on Amazon May 3rd.
Cool.
So, but either way, I mean, if the pre-orders, MikeCroc.com/book.
Awesome. And I'll drop the link below on the Facebook Live. But so for anybody getting started in real estate, I know your time's valuable, so I want to keep it kind of short and sweet. So what would be some nuggets that you would give some entrepreneurs that are like, starting a company like Blueprint or something like that, or writing a book? Like, what would be like 2 or 3 good nuggets you'd give them?
Every single person in life on the planet should start with a core purpose. Like, what is their core purpose? What are they living by? What is their filter that they make decisions through? So for example, mine is all people are unstoppable to live in the life of their dreams. That's right. I say all people are unstoppable, living the life of their dreams. So then everything, as soon as I wake up in the morning, from the time I get up, or what time do I get up, on throughout my day, every thought, word, and action has to go towards that purpose. That's a very easy way to live your life, because you get rid of all the chaos and confusion, because you're making a decision whether I'm going towards my core purpose or away from it. There's no in between. And if you do something that's away from it, you need to correct yourself as quickly as possible and get back on your core purpose. So that's the first step that anybody should be doing. And then from an entrepreneur standpoint, you need to get really clear on what problem you're trying to solve and what the vision is for you and your company and the people that you want to work with, the customers that you want to serve. Get very, very, very clear with it to granular detail. We call it a vivid vision statement. My buddy Cameron is a awesome guy when it comes to culture and developing companies, and he calls it the vivid vision statement. And you really spell it out in 3-4 paragraphs of what you want. Once you do that, that's the first thing. That's clarity. Number 2 is commitment. You have to commit to it. That means all out, no plan B, burn the ships, commit to it. And 3 is consistency. All actions have to be consistently going towards that vivid vision as well as your core purpose. And nothing great in my life has ever come from anything that hasn't been consistent, where I was committed and I was clear. So those are the 3 things I would start with.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited. To get your book. Is there also going to be like an audiobook of it, or is that?
Yeah, at some point I'm going to read this thing into this mic and record it and then put it up on Audible for sure. But I just wanted to get this part done first, because it's a pain in the ass to start. But
oh, my bad. What were you saying?
No. It's just I said it's the first time I did it, and I didn't know what to expect with the process and all that. So, and I will tell you, for anybody that's listening, if you have an idea, a tech idea, reach out to me, shoot me a DM. You don't have to have the money. You don't have to have the know-how. You don't even have to exactly have the exact product. I want everybody to think of what inefficiencies are you dealing with in your life, your business. Think about inefficiencies, because there's inefficiencies everywhere, and everything has a solution, everything. And so I want to, just have people bring me ideas as far as inefficiencies go, and we can sit down and brainstorm on how to solve them.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. If you look at every business and every company, there's always 30, 40 years from now, there's going to be somebody that outdoes them. Right. So I've been sitting around. There's been some times that we've, back in the high school or college, smoking weed. I'm like, man, that's a good idea. I should probably wrote that down, 33 years ago, or I'm dating myself, 20 years ago. But yeah, definitely. And they can reach out to you I know you've always responded to me on Instagram, but by email or anything, right?
Yeah. Best thing to do is Instagram, DM, or LinkedIn.
Okay, cool. Well, I appreciate your time. Again, we're excited. Congrats on the book. Congrats on the book. That is amazing. We're excited. And if there's anything we can do for you in Colorado, I know you do mortgages. So we run a real estate team out here, but we'd love to help.
Yeah, man, let's talk offline about that, because I'd love to, link up with you, because we are licensed and we do loans in Colorado. I have a lady in Colorado and would love to work with you guys and help you grow your business. And not only that, best of luck with your book. You didn't talk much about it. I get it. But I appreciate what you're going through. And I just, I wish you the best of luck with that. If you need anything or any advice on that, man, just hit me up.
Cool. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Brother.